Welcome into another week of the Three Fever Point After podcast. I'm Alex Anderson. He's Jeff Harper. And somehow, Coach, we're here. The last week of the regular season, week 10. We're a broken record here, but it's so hard to believe. It goes by so quickly. Yeah. But we should take time this week to appreciate what promises to be a great slate of games. I mean, whether it's district championships, teams going for a perfect season, playoff spots on the line, there's just so much out there this week.
Yeah, I mean, that's the crazy part of the season is you look and you blink and now you're at week 10 and people are playing for playoff seeding. People are playing to lock their spot in the playoffs, and you got some teams that are trying to finish undefeated, but then you also have big showdown district championship, 1-5A matchup, Parkway and Evangel. Right. It's huge.
So that's game of the week. Parkway got it done last week. They win at Benton. They keep that 9-0 record, and they stay unbeaten in district play, while Evangel goes on the road and loses at LCA, a game that has no bearing on the matchup, obviously, the district championship that we're about to see in our game of the week. It's a tough one, right? Because we haven't seen Parkway lose a game. The games that Evangel has lost have been against very, very, very good opponents.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule is not the same.
Right.
Who they played, body of work, not the same. You can't take away from – Parkway's got to play the teams that are on their schedule. They played Woodlawn and Carroll, that's not the same as Neville and LCA. Right. So I think that Evangel is more, battle-tested, but it doesn't matter at this point. You made it through 9 weeks. Everybody's a little banged up. Everybody's ready for the postseason. And now both, really, Evangel has got so much to play for because a big win against a 9-0 Parkway team kind of moves them up, way up in the power ratings and helps them out. And at the same time, Parkway finishes unbeaten. They have a chance to finish number 1 in non-select and just be, sitting pretty. So there's a lot on the line. But more than anything, Parkway's had a chance to have an undefeated season and then win the district championship at Evangel, which they have not been able to do.
Right.
So it's a huge game.
Well, you mentioned for Evangel, that seeding is huge. I mean, we talk about how good they've been and Pop Houston, and we love watching them. They're the 12th seed right now.
Yeah.
In the select side, Division I. I mean, that's not an easy place to battle from, and that bracket is loaded. Obviously, it's, you would argue probably the most powerful bracket in the state. Mm-hmm. So how much do you think? I mean, I know it's.
I haven't looked at numbers. I don't know how far they could jump, but they would definitely jump with a 9. You're going to get the 10 points for the win, and then you get Parkway's, 9 wins, and so that's going to help them a ton. They both stand to lose a little bit, in the power ratings, but Parkway wouldn't drop very much, but just because Evangel's got a winning record. You rewind just a little bit. Just a few years ago, Evangel was, trying to rebuild and get back to the old ways of doing things. And now here they are a few years later. And so, congratulations to those guys that they've put in the work and rebuilt the program. And they've done it doing the same things they used to do, that's made them successful in the past. And so I did be interested in matchup. I do think that, Parkway offense for offense, you're gonna see a lot of scoring. I do think Evangel's defense is way better than it's been in the past, and they've got some players. And Parkway's got to be able to, play mistake-free. Like Evangel's going to do what Evangel does. They're going to throw it every play, and so regardless of mistakes, they don't make a ton of mistakes. Yeah. And Parkway doesn't either. So you go into that game, it's at Evangel, it's an intimidated environment, especially if the stands are full and they play that reel on the Jumbotron of all their, hype and history.
There's a documentary crew walking around.
You got everybody short of Netflix and Amazon Prime there on the sidelines with a video camera. So there's a lot on the line, and it's going to be a fun matchup to see two really good teams get after it. Yeah,
and you think back at Parkway last season and what happened with them, right, and the way that all went. And a lot of guys, like Caleb Williams, their quarterback, out most of the year due to an injury. And these were the kind of moments they thought they might have last year, and they didn't. And now they have this moment. And, I mean, like you said, what an incredible moment. That place is going to be rocking. But you still have to say, I would think that Evangel is the favorite, mainly because it is a home game. I don't know. I feel like Evangel's the favorite in this one.
Yeah, I think Evangel probably has the media, the sports writers, the people that are, involved in rankings and all that. I think they probably put Evangel above Parkway because of who Evangel's played.
Right.
But I don't think you could discount Parkway at all going into it because they are undefeated.
Yeah.
And they play the same district schedule. The difference is the out-of-district schedule sets up differently for Parkway. So I do think you got to give Evangel just the edge because it is a home game, but I'm saying it's not much.
Yeah, it does seem like it's going to be one of those epic games. And kind of staying on that team, the team's looking for a 10-0 record. Going back to last week a little bit, North DeSoto, they're right there. I don't think they've ever had an undefeated 10-0 regular season before.
I wouldn't know. I'm not a historian on records and all that, but
they've been close. I saw a post.
They've been close, and this would be a big one, and they just happen to be playing us. So we're just hoping that we can get into the second half and the game be competitive. You know, because they're really good. And to watch how well Loyola, because I said it from this set last week, Loyola will not have a problem scoring points. Can Loyola get enough stops to win? And it came down to really the 3 turnovers were the difference in the ball game. And Restovich played a great game. Delafield played a great game. Kenny Thomas just went off in the run game. Mason Drake was great. You got to see some of the best offensive football that you're going to see in this area. You got to see it week 9. And so I sat in my living room with NFHS on and watched the whole game. It was just not surprised by how close it was at times.
Right.
But the North DeSoto got the 14-point swing before the half.
Exactly.
And that really, they had the momentum going into the second half. But hats off to Loyola. And I'm telling you, it doesn't get easier this week for them.
Yeah.
Northwood's defense held Minden to less than 100 total yards of offense and shut them out.
Yeah.
Minden is good, athletic, big, fast, and they could not score, couldn't get first downs. That's shocking.
Yeah.
And so Northwood is turning it on at the right time, and now Loyola, Northwood, that's another game I'm really looking forward to watching.
Right, and I do want to talk more about that, but I did want to kind of just bring this up just because I thought you might think it was pretty cool too. Daniel was telling me, and he had a shot of it in his recap after the game, that as soon as the game was over between Loyola and North DeSoto, you had Luke and Bryce kind of go up and do the handshake. He was like, man, it kind of felt like an NFL game, the way they were like talking to each other, and just the fact that we've watched these two really grow, right in front of our eyes, and to see them be so mature and have so much class and talk to each other after the game like that, it was just really cool.
Yeah, well, and you can't get 2 better guys to be the face of your program, and so proud of both of them, and really looking forward to seeing how things go for them as they finish out the season.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Northwood taking on Loyola, and like you said, I think Loyola just has their hands full again because Northwood is no slouch. I mean, their only loss is North DeSoto, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I did print out all the seeds here so we can be a little more, or I can be a little more educated when I talk. The interesting thing to note is so Northwood is back in the non-select side of things, right? But they're still in Division I.
Yeah.
They're the 4 seed right now. It goes Ruston at 1, Parkway at 2, Northwood's at 4.
And if they win, they could move up.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I mean, that is
that's a bye.
Yeah,
and that's a first round you're hosting.
Right, and that's right to the quarters, and that's a
shot.
Huge deal for them.
They got a shot. Yep.
Yeah, and so, and again, this is a team that when we saw them play North DeSoto, they were not playing their best football yet, and it feels like they are now.
They're really good.
Yeah,
I mean, I would have loved to see them week 10 in North DeSoto because their defense is so good. So they're figuring things out offensively. It's a new scheme. And they're really executing it at a high level. Their Cervantes kid, the quarterback's throwing it really well. They bring in Peyton Boone off the bench as a change-up quarterback, and he could sling it all over the yard. They've got really good running backs, and they've got athletic skill guys, but they make their money in special teams and defense. They're great. And, I mean, defense is what keeps you in the playoffs.
And running game, too.
You've got to have a run game. You've got to be able to play defense. And so Northwood is set up. And I'm telling you, and I've said this, off the air to you, and I've said it to other people, 1-4A it's got unbelievable football teams. And then you look at, there's no really, everybody's athletic and brings something to the table that's really good. And then if you can't score the ball, you can't be very competitive. And if you can't stop anybody in 1-4A, you can't be very competitive. Your best teams are good in all 3 phases of the ball game. They're good offensively, defensively. People say, well, you're saying that, Coach, but North DeSoto gave up 49 points this past week. Have you seen what Loyola has done this year? They've done it to everybody. They were 7 points off their season average I mean, they've got 4 legit receivers, a run game, and a quarterback that can sling it. And he can do that against anybody. I mean, Loyola can do that against anybody. So that 1-4A defense, like what you're going to see with Northwood, they make it really hard for you to move the ball and stay in front of down and distance. And if you turn it over, they capitalize. So I really think that watch out for Northwood in that bracket. They're going to make some noise, and I think that they got a shot at being in the quarters.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Just so great. And I think I referenced this last week too. It's what Austin Brown said when they lost to North DeSoto. He said, "Yeah, this stinks. We don't want to lose these guys, but it is not over. It is so far from over." And we're seeing that now. They're not going to see the Griffins again, right? And that could be North DeSoto. You could say the same thing for Loyola. They could just be one of the best teams.
I think all 3 of those teams are hosting quarterfinal games.
That's amazing.
To be honest with you, I think that Loyola has got as good a shot at the Dome as North DeSoto does.
And so they're right now the 2 seed in. They're
going to run into ULAB.
Yeah.
And if they're on the opposite side, it'd be them and ULAB, and they have a shot at that in the Dome.
God, that would be the best.
It would be
the best.
Could you imagine the top 3 1-4A teams all hosting quarterfinal games? Everybody else in the district can look and go, okay, we're playing. You're talking about top 8 teams in the state.
Right, and we're talking about all different brackets here too, not just in one bracket.
Yeah, like really legit team. So it's a very competitive district.
Very excited for that Loyola Northwood game. I think we'll learn a lot about both. I think honestly though, I kind of see kind of how I felt after North DeSoto and Loyola last week was like, yeah, both these teams are just really good. I mean, I didn't really have a negative takeaway from either of those.
No, you could see where the game changed.
Right.
The turnovers.
Yep.
Right. Both teams turned it over, but Loyola had 2 turnovers inside the 30-yard line, about to score. You take that and put it on the board, now all of a sudden, that game is tied up. Like it's a drastic difference. So that's something that they can learn from. And they were not like loose with the ball. The Loyola did not just expose the ball. It came like they punched the ball out.
Right.
It was really opportunistic defense. Yeah. So where they couldn't get stops, they definitely got turnovers, and that's the difference between North DeSoto winning and losing.
100%. Another team, since we are in kind of talking about that Division II select bracket, Loyola at 2, BTW at 12, perhaps looking at a home playoff game in round 1. They host Woodlawn. I got my really first chance to get a good look at them. I shot their game over Southwood last week, and I see what you're saying.
They're athletic.
Yeah, they've got some dudes. Yeah, they've got a couple threats on the outside that can really scoot, and that quarterback's putting it on them.
Yeah, I mean, he's 6'4", almost 6'5". He can sling it.
Yeah.
He's just a sophomore, too.
And he wears the sports specs, which I just love.
He is really, really good. And they can get in a Wildcat package and run the ball down your throat,
too. They did some of that, too.
Where they're going to have to buckle down, and their coaches will tell you, can't turn the ball over.
Right.
Got to get stops on defense. And if they do that, they can beat anybody on their side of the bracket, too.
Yeah, so if they, obviously Woodlawn's been kind of down this year. If they take care of business, they're looking at a home playoff game, which just alone for BTW is huge.
Yep. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, big. Rooting for those guys, of course, to get that done. Hopping back to the Division I bracket. Interesting, Captain Shreve at 19. I guess kind of surprising that they would be that far down, but this is just a loaded bracket. They have the backyard brawl against Bird, and obviously if they have to win this game.
Have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if they lose, they're going to drop.
Right.
But they have to win it to maintain their spot. I mean, keep where they are because they don't really want to drop too far. And so that's a big game for them. Plus, I mean, at the end of the day, you want to punch your ticket. And if you're already in, you want to get in and out of that Week 10 healthy. I mean, that's where we're at. So, I could see it now with a lot of teams. If it's a rivalry game like the backyard brawl, then you want to win that one and solidify your playoff spot. So I think that one's going to be a very competitive game. You never know with Bird.
Right.
I mean,
that's kind of where I was going.
They surprise people.
I mean, right.
Every year, when you don't think they can win, they can win.
And boy, and Bird's not making the playoffs. We know that, but I mean,
this is their Super Bowl.
They would love nothing more.
Oh yeah.
But to crash that party.
Oh, you know that's being discussed right now.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that would be something else. That's going to be a fun one on a Thursday night for sure. Always something to play for with these two. Huntington, they're on the outside looking in.
Yep.
That's a shame. Southwood on the outside looking in as well. in that bracket. Division 3 select, we're looking at obviously Calvary being the 4th seed. The Cavs go to North Caddo. We expect that to be a win for them.
Yep.
But they did not necessarily look so great against Green Oaks last week.
Started slow.
Yeah.
They turned it on in the second half.
Yeah.
They are 15 to 18-year-old kids.
Exactly.
And they
That's why I
probably
set you up
got
for
their
this.
eyes on the next opponent.
Right.
And I'm not speaking for them. I would just assume. But,
Right.
you can't do that with teams like Green Oaks because they're so athletic and explosive.
Yeah, that was I sent my photographer Madeline over there, and I was like, it's going to be a quick one. And she said, well, Green Oaks just got a pick 6, and things aren't going so quick. Like, all right, well, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes I'm wrong, okay? Deal with it. So that bracket, really not too much going on for us there. Let's jump down. I've already really talked about Division I non-select. Natchitoches Central, though, could not be more on the bubble. The 28th and final spot is occupied by them. They're at Benton. Got to win it.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to get stops because Benton's playing really good offense.
Exactly.
And Owen, as much as I love Owen's game and had the opportunity to coach him, the one thing you want with Owen is you do not want to expose the ball. And sometimes he's really got that gunslinger mentality.
Yes,
he tries to fit it in there and do things. And I think that, if they get some stops and they can score the ball, they can come out of there with a win.
Well, they had a crazy second half, right at the end of the first half, a turnaround against Huntington last week. Kind of similar to what we saw with North DeSoto, where they were able to get a turnover, get those points, and then turn it around. And they shut out Huntington in the second half, too. Yeah. So that's a big deal for them. And, one of Owen's touchdown passes that I actually got on camera, a laser.
Oh, he's good.
Oh, man, right over the middle. It was a rifle.
My boy can sling it.
It was awesome. So, so they have to win if they want to make the playoffs. Benton's the 35. If you lose to them, you're out.
Yeah. Yeah, they're out.
So that's tough. We talked a little bit about North DeSoto. Minden, the 13th seed, but those Bossier Bearcats.
We as of right now, regardless of the final outcome, we should be in with our power rating. So it's just a matter of mathematically who below us wins, who below us gets upset, something like that.
Right.
But we think we'll kind of sit there between 23 and 26. Now, this goes back to that BTW game, right?
I remember.
If we're 5-5, we're in the middle of the bracket. That BTW outcome flipped it, and so being, potentially 4 and 6, that puts us down there in the mid-20s. So either way, the goal at Bossier is to just punch your ticket. I mean, just a few years ago, they didn't win a game.
Right.
Last year we won 2, 3 on paper, 2 on the field. We've doubled that, and really could have been 1 extra with that that BTW turnout. So this is a game where we're trying to get in and out healthy and get our minds right for that next
little road trip
opportunity.
Love it. Well, I'm pulling for you guys. Obviously, love what Montreal's been doing, and that's going to be so fun to see y'all in the playoffs. We go down to Division III non-select. Mansfield's the 8. Mansfield's in control, but they have to beat Manny.
It's a district championship because Manny wins this game. It's a three-way tie.
Yep.
I do think that it's going to be very competitive, and Manny's feeling really good about themselves. Their running back, the Thomas kid, is legit, and I think my boy Tyler Hassel and Quincy Jones are going to have a really good offensive and defensive game plan for Mansfield. Mansfield's got the Pegues kid who's legit, but they're not just good on offense; they're good on defense and special teams too. So they're a very balanced team, and they already have 7 wins on the season. So Hassel was talking about the fact that they could even jump more with this win.
Right. And they're at 14, they're at 14, so you're talking home playoff game.
Yep. It's the difference in a district championship hosting or on the road.
Right.
In a tough on-the-road opponent.
Yeah, for sure. Red River not too far behind at 19, which is interesting because they won that game over Manny, but obviously the power ratings go into your schedule.
Strength of schedule, yeah.
Right. But Red River obviously wanting to win to give any chance of bolstering there. They host Oakdale. Lakeside, they are right there in that final spot on this bubble. They go to Winfield, and I believe Winfield's having a tough season. So
Winfield's still pretty salty.
Yeah, okay.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good on offense, and they play sound defense. So if they have their players and they're not really depleted like they've been in the past, I think that is a very competitive game. And I'm saying just looking at the scores this year in 2A, I could see that being a 1-score, 3-point ball game. Are they playing at Winfield?
Yeah.
That's a tough place to win, too.
Mm-hmm.
Very tough place.
So they're on the bubble at 28. North Webster also on the bubble in this bracket at 26. The Knights host Bastrop.
I think North Webster pulls that one out.
Yeah, and it's similar to kind of what we're talking about with you guys for the Knights, straight to get in.
Yeah, I mean, just get the job done and then get to that playoff, and then it's a 1-week season.
Yeah.
So you get to focus on one opponent, not looking ahead. And I hope for a lot of these teams that haven't been in the playoffs in the last few years, especially programs that are on the rise and rebuilding, it's exciting to see them realize some of their goals.
For sure. All right, so we go to Division III non-select. Well, you'll never guess who the top team in that bracket is. It's Haynesville. Looking like they're going to cap off a perfect season. We're going to have the highlights of that, hoping that they host Glenbrook. So Glenbrook's been down this year. So looking at 10-0, they're gonna run this bracket. So yeah, but interesting team. And we've talked about them all year, and it's one of your favorite teams. It's Logansport. They're the 6th seed in this bracket right now, and they've got Colin McGee.
Yep.
Out on the field, throwing passes to Keaton Kaysen.
Yep.
Keaton Kaysen is like Taysom Hill right now for the Tigers, and I feel like if you're a team that has them in your bracket,
watch
I'm terrified.
out.
Yeah.
Watch out. Well, they're well coached. Their defense, the way they scheme you up, they're really well coached. They're sound. They got 2 really good defensive linemen. They're brothers. One's a stand-up defensive end. The other one's an interior defensive lineman, and they're good. The coaches, the defensive coordinator's son, plays Mike linebacker number 11. He's incredible. Wherever the ball goes, he goes. Like, he just has a nose for the ball. So I think that Logansport is probably the one team in that bracket that, if you look at their record, I think they're going to possibly finish 7-3. Don't judge them on anything that you've seen on film until the last couple of weeks, because they just got Colin back. He's not 100%, but he's getting back into it. And so if he starts feeling good and they're able to kind of open up the offense a little bit, watch out, because they've got the athletes to go make plays.
And they'll finish the season on Thursday at Northwood Lena.
Yeah.
Logansport will. I did want to I did actually skip over one game I did want to talk about, and it's interesting to me, is Southwood at Minden. Minden's in the playoffs. Southwood is not. A Southwood win, they are the 28th seed in that Division I select bracket. I don't know if it's enough to get you up for 4 spots. But, is this a game that Southwood, could they pull it off? I know it's a tough test in the pit.
So I have friends that coach over there, right? And I want them to win because they have done a great job this year. Minden is just the most up and down team in our district. Mm-hmm. They are extremely, extremely talented. And it's not a coaching issue. Like, they have great scheme. They play with technique. They do the little things right. They just have nights where it seems like they don't show up based off the score, right? So I think that with it being a win in your end game, Southwood's going to give them everything they got. Absolutely. And I think that it'll be competitive early. I think that if Minden can establish the ground game, they'll be able to put Southwood away. If they let Southwood hang around, there's enough quality coaches and athletes on Southwood's sidelines that they could bite you in the tail. So I think that it'll be a competitive game early. I personally believe that Minden is the better team, not only on paper but on the field. But Southwood is playing really well, and I would love to see them go in there and get the upset.
In a word to the wise, and I can't remember his name, so my apologies here. If whoever was the kicker out there at Minden, do not kick it to number 4 on Southwood.
Yeah,
because I felt really bad for the Booker T. Washington kicker after they scored their first touchdown on their first drive. He kicked a line drive kick right to that kid's chest, and he caught it right up the middle, touchdown. That poor kid, he got an earful.
I'm sure he did.
Because I was on the Booker T sideline. I was like, let me just put the camera away. I don't want to get that.
Our guy did the same thing, kicked it to number 6, and we're like, don't kick it to 6, and he returned it.
I said 4. I meant 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was quick.
Yeah.
So it was just it was one of those funny moments that we don't get to see a ton of.
Yeah.
A nice lesson learned from that.
If the coach says don't kick it to that guy, don't do it. There's a reason.
He's like, I didn't see him over there, and then coach, how that conversation went. It was awesome. But all right, so we're so excited. Week 10. It's finally here. We're talking playoffs next week. Anything else that's kind of sticking out to you? Something that maybe the viewers at home should be keyed into?
Watch how the District 2-5A finishes up.
Oh, yeah.
It's a scenario-based situation.
Insane.
It's crazy. If Ash wins, then this person. If Neville wins, then this. If West Monroe wins and Neville loses, it's just nuts what's going to happen. And I think there's 4 different scenarios where somebody would win if, 4 different teams could win the district championship. So that's going to be interesting because it's going to play a huge role in power rating and playoff seeding. So just watch the crazy scenario. There's a couple of things that you can find on social media, just the posts of, scenario based, and it's nuts.
That's crazy.
It's nuts.
And Ruston hosting West Monroe alone, without all these crazy stakes, would be awesome.
Yep.
And that game is going to be
a war.
Yeah. And again,
there's so much on the line. The last few years, West Monroe hasn't been as good as they are right now, under a new head coach who's done a really good job. This is, a stamp that West Monroe is back, because it's not like they're playing lesser teams in their district. All of those teams in their district are good. All of them are competitive.
Every single one of those teams we're talking about, Neville, Ash, Ruston, and
Washita,
they're all contenders. And we've seen it in their games.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a blowout. Every game is right down to the wire.
West Monroe kind of used to tower over that district, and then Ruston came in and took it over. And now it's like anybody's district.
Yeah, it's wide
and so
open.
it comes down to the last week, which is exciting, just to sit back and watch, and then to see all the different scenarios that play out. Look for the upsets this week. If you get an upset, it throws a curveball in the power ratings. So power ratings, you could see a team go from hosting to dropping out of, now they're on the road.
Yep.
Those middle of the road teams.
And that makes a massive difference.
Massive difference. Anybody that's inside of, 16 seed, you're hosting. You jump to 17, you're on the road. And the difference is, money and travel expenses and
some
all
of
that.
those trips are far. It's not easy.
And then you're dealing with, road games in the playoffs, playing teams you're not familiar with, make it also very awkward. So there's just a lot on the line this week.
Yeah, very excited, very excited. And hat tip to our friend Aaron Dietrich over at KNOE. It's my guy. He's going to be busy with that 2-5A.
It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, he's going to be running around. I can just see it now. So thankfully, 1-5A is a little easier for us. It is just one game for all the marbles, and we cannot wait for it. Coach, thanks as always, my man, for hanging out with us here. And thanks to you for listening to us. You can catch us Friday Football Fever, presented by Southern Classic Chicken, 10:30 KPXJ CW21 this Friday. You do not want to miss it.